Alrighty, this will be the People News one more time at it. Okay? Not attorney, not giving legal advice. Educational purposes only. Alright? Just voice my opinion if I say anything. Okay? Do your own research. Okay? Take me with a grain of salt. I'm hearsay. Alright? And never just look straight forward. Always look around you. Be able to protect yourself by any means necessary. Arm yourself with knowledge. Use that Second Amendment. Okay? That's the reason why Congress passed a law of what particular type of guns, right? Because arms could be of anything. So, that being said, you arm yourself with knowledge and be able to conduct yourself in court in an honorable way. Let's proceed forward and see what he has to say. Again, this is where the storm clouds are gathering. If you want to check out without my interruptions. All right, and by the way, he does have another YouTube. It's called Derek Gonzalez. Okay, and he's got a lot of great contents in there, but he goes through a bunch of different catalogs, as I do. Okay, but the man you see on here is not the same as where the storm clouds are gathering. Okay, Kirk's Law Corner had his own YouTube. Haven't seen it recently, so I don't know if he got kicked off of YouTube because he's telling the truth. So you may be able to look him up on Facebook or TikTok or whatever these things are called nowadays. So uh, try to track him down that way if you want to get educated in the Constitution because he is directly involved in that.
By state ID card, driver's license, verbal by defendant, and then he check marks other by Wiggins ID. And then it says witness, identified defendant, just blank. The crimes was committed in my presence? No. So, based on his own affidavit here, there were no crimes. He didn't witness any crimes, so we don't have any witnesses to any crimes here. How did he make an arrest lawfully?
Probable cause affidavit in support of arrest will be in negative defense exhibit D for purposes of this hearing. May continue, Kurt.
The next one is Garden City Police Department General Report. Narrative, I should do two separate ones. Yeah, we'll start with the general report. Basically just elucidates his probable cause that he observed a 2003 Subaru Forester not bearing any license plates or temper tags while driving southbound. Activated my overhead lights to conduct a traffic stop on the vehicle, and the vehicle yielded. So again, he's saying that he made a traffic stop where there was no traffic.
Yeah. Good marshal's assistant. Show that to Mr. Francis. All right. See if we're good. I think we're up to E. Is that correct? We'll go ahead and have looks like an excerpt from the Garden City Police Department General Report. As Exhibit E, admitted for the purposes of this hearing. You may continue, Kirk.
All right, thank you, sir. The next one is the Garden City Police Department Narrative Report, which, again, is signed by Officer Jantz here. And it's basically kind of more of a reiteration of that, but it's the narrative report, his own words.
You want that one admitted for this hearing too, Kirk?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's go ahead and get that one admitted. Mr. Francis, any objections?
Sure.
There. That's going to be F, I believe. Thank you. We'll get this labeled as Exhibit F, which again appears to be excerpts from the Garden City Police Department Narrative Report. All right. You may continue, Kirk.
Now, one thing I want to point out here, you see how I'm admitting evidence into the record. Okay? All of that stuff that I'm submitting, that was done through a request for discovery, and, they're required to give all the evidence they intend to use at trial. And so I went through all of this so-called evidence with a fine-tooth comb and picked it all apart. As you can hear, I'm, elucidating all of the errors within these documents that actually prove their own fraud and his lies. Okay? But the key part of this is learning how to submit evidence. Right here, that's what's going on right here, as I'm submitting, because I don't know if people understand this or not, but when you do the request for discovery, you get that from the other party. None of that gets submitted to the judge. It doesn't go into the court record. This is at the point in time where evidence is submitted into the record, or in a trial by jury, or just a regular court trial. That is when those documents are submitted. See, none of that stuff is in official record until we submit that evidence. And most of the time, they won't submit that stuff into the evidence. But that's why I'm doing it, is, again, to elucidate all their fraud.
Yes, thanks, sir.
No problem.
I think I'll leave that out. Other than when he conducted his search of me, he found a pocket knife here, and here's so he unlawfully seized this and kept it to himself instead of keeping it with me and my property when he took it to the Ada County Jail, and they put it into property, so that's theft of my private property. And this would be a Garden City Police property invoice for safekeeping. And I went and retrieved that. But these are the documents here that elucidate as evidence of theft of my private property.
I think we're up to G. Mr. Francis, any objection?
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for your marshal's assistance. We'll go ahead and label these. This appears to be Garden City Police invoice. Go ahead and label these 2 pages as Defense Exhibit G for purposes of this hearing. All right, Kirk, you may continue.
And I want to pause there. You notice throughout the videos they asked if there's any objections from the prosecutor, right? And they keep saying no. That's because that they are led to believe that the judge is going to be on his side, okay? And meanwhile, he just keeps adding evidence, adding. But he don't think it's important. The prosecutor does not think it's important. But if it goes to a court of appeals, even higher courts or whatever, this is going to be very important when he goes into whatever circuit he's in the Supreme Courts, right? Because now you're getting into federal record, right? And but at the time, I don't think he's processing that this is going to actually hurt the prosecutor's case. Due to he is thinking that the judge is going to be on his side and it's not going to go any further. I'm led to believe.
The next document here that I've received in discovery from the plaintiff here is actually from the Idaho Department of Transportation, or Idaho Transportation Department, dated December 9th, 2024, which would be after the fact, a notice of suspension, family law, and it states here effective July 5th, 2012, which I find this being a fraudulent document based on what's previously been presented as evidence with the ID and expired and how it was reinstated. Obviously, would have been able to get that commercial driver's license issued to me on the date that is on there. The issue date is after this 2012. So this is a fraudulent document, and I just want to put this in the record because that's what they're claiming, that they gave me notice pursuant to the Idaho Code there.
All right, so Mr. Francis. All right, up to I. H. We're up to H. Appears to be a notice of suspension for family law. Label this as Exhibit H. You may continue, Kirk.
The next one is also from the Idaho Transportation Department, received from discovery from the plaintiff over there, and this just it shows another fraudulent here submitted date for the expired of July 19th of 2022, which you previously received the evidence of a copy of the Class B commercial driver's license that actually expired in 2018 and not 2022.
Exhibit A you're referring to, correct, Kirk?
Yes, sir. And there are 3 pages here to this. It just kind of gives a whole history of it, which also shows when it was originally suspended and reinstated, which coincides with that Class B commercial driver's license.
Ms. Francis, have you seen I?
Yes.
All right. I want to extend that maybe he needs to look at too in the future, but he's better than I am, so I don't know. It's just my opinion. Okay, I'm not attorney, not giving legal advice either. So take it as a grain of salt. Um, why he went to jail, I have not heard anything about extortion fees if he was bonded out. And since they violated his rights, and that's what this whole case is about, um, well, they kept him in there and demand their extortion fees. Okay, not bond because they broke the due process. Right? If they went through the due process of the true due process, then he has a right to be bonded out. But since they did not go through the whole lawful uh, way of proceeding forward in this, then it's extortion fees.
Thank you, Mayor Clerk.
Now, the other claim that I've made.
Kirk, 1 second. I've got to. You want stuff admitted? I got to make sure we get it admitted.
Sorry, sir.
No, you're fine. All right. This appears to be documents from the Idaho Transportation Department. We'll get those admitted as Exhibit I. You may continue, Kirk.
All right, thanks, sir.
No problem.
The next part is that I have in my motion to dismiss or motion to suppress. I can't remember which one it's in. About how they arbitrarily took $300 cash out of my wallet, posted my bond for me without even my own knowledge or consent. And I have the evidence of these two different documents here. One is showing a cash bond receipt, and what was stapled to it was another printed out receipt for $25. So a total of $325 was stolen from me. Basically, I consider this as I was being held for ransom. Because again, violating due process of law is supposed to be immediately taken before justice of the peace or a magistrate for an initial examination. And that did not happen, which violates the Sixth Amendment right. So, right to due process of law. Just want to...
Okay, so I jumped the gun. He did bring it up. All right, well, timing is everything, isn't it, people? Okay, well, he covered that.
Commit this as evidence that $325 was stolen from me without my consent and being held for ransom.
Go ahead, Mr. Francis. Any objections, Mr. Francis? No. All right. This is a jam. All right. We're going to get what appears to be an Ada County Sheriff cash bond receipt submitted as Exhibit J for purposes of this hearing. All right, Kirk. You may continue, Kirk?
Yeah. Say again?
You may continue. You're fine.
Thanks, sir. I just wanted to show him that we could kind of cover both things at the same time here.
That's good practice. I appreciate that.
This is the notice of court date and bond receipt that I received from the Ada County Jail, which I refused to sign and all that stuff. But this basically is the notice of hearing, and it also elucidates the fact.
Okay, I would never go with refuse but deny. Okay, I don't want to be assisting them. Okay, so again, he's better than I am at this. It's just my opinion.
It violated due process of law. So I'd like to submit that as evidence of all of that.
Any objections, Mr. Francis? Great decay. All right, we'll go ahead and admit this notice. Go ahead and admit this document. Piece of K. We're up to K. All right, Kirk, you may continue.
All right, thank you, sir.
All right, I think we're going to end it here. I don't know how much longer this court thing is going to last. But there we go. Okay. I guess I was on the right track when I brought up the extortion fee. So at least we're on the same page with that as well. So what do you guys think? Okay? Sorry about that. Really need to learn how to get that notification off there and find out where it's coming from. But what do you guys think? Alright? He is using case laws that I have been speaking of for a long time, but he is putting in action. Number one, I haven't had a ticket in I don't know how long. And even if I did, I probably would just go ahead and pay it, to be honest with y'all. Just to kind of get away from that and not get in such a bind of this, so I can still keep doing my research. But who knows? You know, I may be pissed off at the cop and do all these things. So sometimes I have other things going. On a side note, um, my offspring had a lawsuit brought to him, challenging jurisdiction, and I asked to be his counsel, um, and told the courts that uh, I'm going to speak on his behalf, but not as an attorney, but as his counsel, since I've been his counsel since the day he was born. And so it got uh, postponed to another date.